It is a beautiful morning at the lake in Oklahoma. I'm reminiscing back to something that happened when I was a kid that changed the bass fishing world forever. We're going to be talking about that on this week's show, and we just might give you a little hint, a little extra tip that may put a few extra bass on your line the next time you go fishing. I'm glad you're with us. The next half hour is going to be a lot of fun because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
I'm old enough to remember when I was a little kid in the 1960s growing up when the plastic worm craze hit the bass fishing market. The Cream Lure Company made this 6-inch plastic worm that looked like a night crawler. They put a little spinner on the front of it. It really took the bass fishing world by storm. Then my dad began to pour his own plastic worms in these molds out in the tool shed. We fished with those and caught bass. That was my first experience with a plastic worm. Well, as you well know, since then, it has become one of the staples in the bass fishing toolbox. And on today's show, we're going to go through a basic and somewhat advanced tour of the different ways that you can fish a plastic worm or plastic baits, creature baits, lizards, all kinds of plastics. We'll show you how to fish those, how to rig them, and some of the techniques on how you can catch bass. To do that, we welcome you into Arbuckle Lake. It's located in south central Oklahoma, just off of I-35, a little bit north of the city of Ardmore, Oklahoma. It's a good bass fishing test tube to help us demonstrate how you can catch bass on plastic baits. And while we're out fishing, we're going to be taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. The next half hour, it's going to be a lot of fun. Glad you're with us. The NITRO Z19 gets launched down the boat ramp at Arbuckle Lake, and we get things started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
According to the Salooner tables, both days of the weekend will offer fair game fish activity. Peak morning hours will take place before sunrise, while top evening action should start at 4:12 on Saturday and 4:58 on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 7:16 and set at 7:22. In evenings, we'll feature a crescent moon that is 13% visible. We'll be right back with all of the current fishing reports from around the area. And I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Odd Defoe on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Jumped in the net. Oh, look at this. That's a pig right there. Fish. Got it. There we go. That's a decent fish. All right, I got a good one on. Don't go in there. Ooh, she hit the bottom of the boat. Look at this. Jumped in the net. Oh, look at this. That's a pig right there. Man, be still, baby. That is a toad right there, folks. Look at this. There's you about a 9 or 10 pounder right there, right in the corner of the mouth. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today, talking soft plastic baits and all the ways that you can catch bass of your very own on them. And you can catch one like that on a Texas rig. The oldest method of fishing a soft plastic bait is a Texas rig, and I'll explain it to you how to fish it in just a second, but we're gonna let this fish go back. All right, darling. That's a big boy right there. All right, and away she goes. Let me explain a Texas rig to you right quick. It's very simple. You take a worm head weight, or what they call a bullet weight. It's got a pointed nose on it. Anywhere from an 1/8 ounce to a 1/4 ounce is the normal size. That's a black one. You slide it on the line first, then you tie a 2/0, 3/0, 4/0, 5/0, something like that, offset worm hook. It's got a little bend in the shank of it. You stick it into the nose of the bait, slide it down, pull the eye of the hook into the bait. You pinch the bait up, stick the hook through, and then you do what's called texposing it, which you just pinch it up and bury just the tip of the hook in the bait. And basically, there's your Texas rig. All right, we got us a big bass right there, and it's time for you to go check out fishing reports from us, Insider Reporter, where you live.
This part of the program is brought to you by Egret Baits, makers of the new Voodoo Mullet. The Voodoo Mullet has a serrated body wiggling action that fish can't resist, and it comes in 2 sizes to match the hatch wherever you're fishing. So try a Voodoo Mullet and let the fish do the rest.
Well, fall fishing's really kicked off along the Gulf Coast of Alabama, Mississippi. I was fishing with Captain Jake Marquis the other morning, and we just had a great day on redfish, flounder, and we even caught triple tail. We had a number of really nice triple tail, lost some really big ones, but my son Matt caught a 22 pounder, so that triple tail fishing is really starting to come in now on big parts of Mobile Bay. You need kind of calm weather. You run until you find a flotsam coming down the bay and cast that flotsam with either lures or live bait, live shrimp. Early in the morning around the mouth of Mobile Bay, the trout fishing has been very good along the beaches, and much the same type of fishing is that way over in Mississippi. The trout are doing very well around the Barrier Islands. Captain Sonny Schindler in Bay St. Louis says the fishing there is very good too for redfish and trout. Over in southeast Georgia, Captain Greg Hildreth continues to catch big tarpon. This will be the last of the tarpon season, catching those fish as they're coming down chasing mullet, and all the bait fish along the beaches, and the bull reds are running in southeast Georgia too. Well, that's it for the coastal South. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report is sponsored by Southern Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine. This destination-oriented e-zine covers the great saltwater action on the South Atlantic and Gulf Coast from Maryland to Panama and the Caribbean islands. Subscriptions are free at www.southernsaltflyfishing.com. Now, across the deep South, the days are continuing to be warm, but we're getting that first tinge of cool weather early in the mornings that heralds the fall's approach. These conditions are good for getting the bass feeding in the region as well. Hybrid, largemouth, smallmouths, and spots are getting active all across the South. In Alabama, the fishing is picking up on Lake Eufaula for the hybrid bass right now. It's the best time of the year to catch these fish, which average about 1 to 2 pounds, but some 5-pounders show up as well. The best tactic is trolling deep diving crankbaits along channel ledges or on points near creek mouths. The depth to target is 20 to 25 feet, but expect to find those fish suspended at 15 feet. The best fishing is late afternoon until it gets dark. In northwest Mississippi, largemouth, smallmouths, and spotted bass all can be caught right now in the shallows on Pickwick Lake, where the shad are spawning on the points. On Georgia's Lake Sinclair, the largemouth are also looking for shad in the upper Oconee River arm of that reservoir.
Got him. Golly, that's another big one. Carolina rig fish, he's got it. I think he's got it. Got him. Golly, I didn't think that was a fish. Hey, welcome back everybody. We're still on Arbuckle Lake. I've switched over now out here on this windy point and I'm throwing a Carolina rig. Easy, buddy. No, don't get in the trolling motor. Golly. Got him there. That's a big one too. That's a big one. Got him. Golly, that's another big one. Holy mackerel. We've got us a day going now. Look at this. Golly, that one hit a Carolina rig. I'm going to show you that too. That's another toad. Man. Well, what I did, I was fishing up a little shallow in some coves and stuff, and you saw me catch that one big one, but the wind got up and the sun broke out a little brighter, and so I pulled out off some points. There's some little coves back in here, but they make points in between all the coves. And I picked up a Carolina rig because it's another great way to fish a plastic bait. And that one came on a big old plastic lizard. That's a Jean LaRue lizard. We're gonna put that fish back. That one gave me a good fight. All right, well, that's another big one. Here's a Carolina rig. You use a great big stiff rod. That's a 7-foot, 11-inch Lew's Custom Speed Stick rod. It's their Magnum casting rod. Use big line, 20-pound test main line. That's a 3/4 ounce or a 1 ounce Carolina rig weight, followed by a glass bead to protect the knot, a big barrel swivel. Then you use fluorocarbon leader. I like about a 2-foot piece. And there is that big lizard, and you Texas rig the lizard, just like we showed you earlier. The way you fish a Carolina rig very quickly is you throw it out on a point like we did then, big long cast, let it go to the bottom, and you drag it, you pull it. So you take up the slack and rod tip down and drag it along the bottom. You don't hop it like you do a Texas rig or jig or something. Rod tip down, pull it, drag it, and feel it bumping along the bottom, and then that lizard comes along behind that weight, and they nail it. Hey, it's fishing report time for you.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report, brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. And speaking of the Dead Dog, it's fall. You've got to get down here and enjoy this incredible view, this incredible food, and the music we've got lined up for the fall. It is wonderful to be out on this marsh walk during the fall. And remember, if you're in the Carolinas, make sure you put us on your list of destinations to visit. And let's talk about freshwater side of things. It's fall. All my buddies from bass fishing that have taught me everything that I know say that this is their favorite time to get out and target the bass. Right now, they're starting to get into that fall mode. The water temperatures are starting to fall. They're looking for bait. They're going to start making their ways into back of the creeks and into river systems here, and they're going to start stacking up in your fall positions on your lakes. Get out and have a great time right now. And also, Captain Jason Bennett up on Lake Murray tells me that the stripers are getting into that mode. You remember a couple years back, I hosted the show for Barry. We were up on Lake Murray targeting stripers early in the morning, late in the afternoon, schooling. Great time getting out with a Zara spook or a whopper plopper, which is an incredible bait, by the way. We'll produce some great striper catches if you can find those schools on the lake near you. This has been your Carolinas Report, and it's brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Got to run to a quick break for a word from our sponsors, but while we do, I want to show you some footage from yesterday. We came a day early. I had a chance to spend a day in the boat with my friend Kevin Duncan, who lives here in Oklahoma, fishes Arbuckle Lake all the time. But we caught a couple of pretty decent fish here, a couple of 3 to 4.5 pound type fish, and just wanted to show those to you real quick from yesterday as we go to a quick break. We will be back to beautiful Arbuckle Lake in the Arbuckle Mountains right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
There's a smallmouth for you right there. Got him, swimming at me. Staying deep. Oh, good fish. Lay down, baby. He's kind of under the boat. Come here, baby. There we go. There we go. Come up here. Got him. Man, I'll tell you what, just about every fish I've caught today has been a good fish. Hey everybody, we're actually now trying to stay out of the wind on Arbuckle Lake. Found a little pocket back here, and there's a halfway decent one right there. That's just another good solid bass. I'm right in the mouth of a little cove. Okay, let me show you. This is basically just a soft plastic jerkbait. You've probably heard of that, but it's nothing more than a pretty straight plastic worm looking bait. This particular one is by the NITRO Lure Company. It's full of salt, which gives it some weight, holds it down, keeps it from riding up in the water column. You rig it without a weight. There's no weight on it. Again, about a 4/0 hook. You Texpose it exactly like we showed you earlier. You throw it out there off of a bank. Rod tip goes down. You count and let that bait settle. And then you go twitch with your rod tip a couple of times. Give it some slack, let it settle again. Twitch again. Pause, let it settle. Twitch like that. Typically, they hit it while it's settling. So you twitch, and when you pause it, that's when one of it runs up there and grabs it. Soft plastic jerkbait, deadly, killer way to catch them, really in all the warm weather months. Time for more fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hey guys, this week's Tennessee and Kentucky report is brought to you by Orion Coolers. You know, let's be honest, not all coolers are created equal. And I think if you compare Orion to every other brand on the market, you'll see that they're just far superior. The coolest custom colors out there, and best of all, they're made to be bomb-proof right here in the good old USA. Check them out, orioncoolers.com. Guys, in the Tennessee, Kentucky region, we're kind of dealing with the remnants of Hurricane Irma, or it's probably Tropical Storm Irma by the time she got to us. But with that being said, what we got was a ton of rain, and that dirtied up some of the water. It raised some of the water levels. But the good thing is that it also gave us some current and some moving water, which right now in the dog days of summer is a really important deal. So here's the places to go. Number one, I would start at Douglas Lake over in East Tennessee. They just had a big bass open there a couple weeks ago, and the guys caught them really well. Lake Cumberland in Kentucky is really good right now. It's pretty clear, so you don't get a lot of discoloration of the water there, and a little color actually does it some good. And last but not least, I would go to Kentucky Lake. You're not gonna get a lot of bites right now in Kentucky Lake, but you're gonna get some big bites, and it's a topwater deal, like a sexy dog just walking around over isolated cover. So guys, it's good. It's not great, but it's not bad. As the closer we get to fall, the better it's gonna get. We'd love to see you here. God bless.
Bite. You got it? Got it. Man, that fish swam and swam. Smallmouth. Smallmouth came up and jumped. Yeah. Come in here. Smalley. Wow, he won't give up. There he is. Come in here. All right. There's a smallmouth for you right there. We got a bass on a hardhead biffle bug, and I'm going to tell you about that. First, I'm going to show you what a Arbuckle Lake smallmouth bass looks like. Beautiful gold color. And we're going to let him gently swim back here. Yeah, this is a bait right now that's just really become the rage just recently over the last, I'm going to say, 4 or 5 years. It's a plastic bait called a biffle bug. It's made by the NITRO Lure Company, but basically this works with any creature bait, which is a creature plastic bait is a bait that's got kind of a bug style body like that. And it's got some kind of appendages coming off of it. This one's got some small little legs here, and it's got some little swim tail legs, and it's got a tail. But any of these creature baits that have a body and some appendages swimming off of it can be rigged on what's called a football jig. It's called a football jig because the head is shaped like a football, and it's got a hook on a swivel. So basically the lead head has got an eye, and it's got a hook that can swing back and forth like this, and it gives it a lot of action. The technique is you throw the bait out. It can't be in brush, on rock bottom, basically. You put your rod tip down, you let it go to the bottom, and then you start a slow, steady retrieve with it. Bump, 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 bumping along the bottom. Use your reel handle to keep the bait moving towards you.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Luz, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And NITRO Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Mark asks, how can I cleanly cut braided line? For the answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Ott Defoe.
The best way I know to cut braided line is one of two ways. Number one is to buy a really high quality pair of braided line scissors. Rapala makes some excellent ones that cut braided line with ease. Another great tool that I keep handy on my NITRO Z21 is just a little set of clips. I actually screw it right here to where there's a screw on the boat. It's there all the time. And those work really well, you know, I mean, but you gotta buy something that's made for braided line. And the thing about it, even those ones that are made for braided line, they're gonna work well for a year, maybe two, then they're gonna start to get dull. Only cut braid with them, they'll last longer, but just keep a fresh pair. Reset that pair every year to 2 years. Keep you a fresh pair of cutters, it's gonna work well.
Thanks, Ott. If you have a question for one of the anglers, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link on the right side of the page, and send it in. Now one lucky viewer wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Every week, somebody's lucky enough to catch a big fish and lucky enough to win a free pair of Costa sunglasses like the ones we wear on the show on the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Here's this week's winner. He's John Mantipley of Atlanta, Georgia, showing a 42-inch redfish he caught at St. Andrews Sound in Georgia. If you'd like to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click in the Costa Catch of the Week box on the right side of the homepage and follow the instructions. And if you'd like to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Costa logo, and follow the link to see all of the frame and lens styles, including the frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode. This one is called Motu. Next up on our gear segment, here are some of the ways that we fished plastic baits today, caught some good bass, and you can do the same. Beginning on your left is the Gene LaRue Punch-Out Craw rigged Texas rig, the most basic of the rigs. Next up, it's a Carolina rigged Gene LaRue Biffalo Lizard. Next up is the Hardhead Biffle Bug rig that we showed you caught the smallmouth on. And finally on the right is the soft plastic jerkbait. That's a Gene LaRue Salt Flicker. Who is Philip Pettit? He's a Frenchman who in 1974 had a big dream, and that was to string a wire across the World Trade Center towers in New York and walk across it. He did it. He realized his dream. In fact, there's a great movie that came out in 2015 about that feat. It's called The Walk. You ought to check that movie out. People said he had a death wish. No, he says he had a life wish. Quote, "Life should be lived on the edge. You have to exercise rebellion, to refuse to tape yourself to the rules, to see every day, every year, every idea as a true challenge. Then you will live your life on the tightrope." Now, we never recommend breaking the law, but we also don't recommend living life in the safe zone. You've got to take a few risks in order to enjoy the best successes in life. Take them. Thanks for joining us today from Arbuckle Lake in the Arbuckle Mountains of South Central Oklahoma. Hope you enjoyed learning some of these plastic techniques, and I hope you catch some on your favorite lake. See you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.